So when they don't move, we don't get extra funding. And so as I begin to make phone calls and try to determine from Zapata to Santa Rosa what was going on, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the agency, there's a disconnect between our communities, and there's a disconnect between this organization. Now, this organization has purview over all of it. And my organization, the state legislature and the committee which I preside over, has purview over TxDOT and their $10 billion annual budget. So what I would ask you today are a couple of things. One, I've noted throughout the history of Hidalgo County, we have a problem of prioritizing projects that aren't shovel ready. You have projects in the tip that are ready to go. Yet we pick projects that are 10 years out and do 10 years worth of engineering plans and consultants and all sorts of stuff instead of attacking the ones that are ready to go. And I won't say we always do the ones that are ready to go, but those should be the priority. Because if you don't spend it, you don't get more. So that would be my first request. My second request is that you will join me in requesting from the agency maybe monthly reports of not only the projects that are stalled, but the projects that have been funded. Because this organization, although it prioritizes, doesn't do its job when it means following up. And so following up, and I say, what does that mean? Well, this organization has the authority to reallocate funds. And so if you have the authority to reallocate funds, you should be looking at which funds need to be reallocated. When a project is not moving, when a project's been stalled, and I don't know if we have that procedure, so I would respectfully ask the MPO to come up with a formula and a way to monitor projects, a way to hold those leaders accountable and or hold their hand when they don't know how to get it done. Some of these construction projects are complex and they're a little bit over sometimes my pay grade and your pay grade, and that's what Pete's here for. But we all need to be communicating. And the one thing that I noticed between the $300 million that are funded, and the reason I find that so aggravating is because I've spent an entire session fighting for my district for 10 million. And when you've got 300 that is sitting here stalled, and when I've called the local leaders, some of them don't know anything about it. Some of them said, yes, we did those things that TxDOT says we didn't do. And the one thing I'm not going to get into is placing blame or pointing fingers. We've got plenty of time to do that. What we don't have time to do is sit and wait any longer to install these projects. And if they are not installable, they need to be reallocated. The Rio Grande Valley is growing at an exponential rate, and we cannot afford to have transportation dollars not moving. The reality is we have to fight twice as hard, twice as long, and twice as angrily to get funded. And the fact that we've got that amount of money is insane. The fact that those projects are not burning through this county right now and through Cameron County and through Zapata and all these areas, it should be insulting to the public, should be insulting to you, and should be insulting to Pete and TxDOT. We should all be angry. And so instead of getting angry, let's get it done. And so I would also ask you, or tell you, I recently had the privilege, because of legislative privilege, to see an internal TxDOT document. And it showed that the state of Texas has approximately, and I'm going to round it, about $1.2 billion of advanced funded projects. Those are shovel-ready projects. And one of the numbers that stood out to me was Bexar County. They have half of it, almost $600 million, $500 million. You know how much our district has? Zero. Goose egg. None of them. That should be concerning to you. So a county that has 2 million people, as opposed to our 1 million people, has half of all the allocations of advanced shovel-ready projects, and we've got none. And that goes back to what I'm asking you to do. When you're prioritizing projects, let's get the ones we know we can get done. And that doesn't mean all of them. Sometimes we have to plan for these big ones, and they're going to take time. But the prioritization should be on the ones we need to get done now, because the more we spend, Pete will tell you, the more we get. But it's impossible for legislators like me to go to Austin and ask for more transportation funding for this region and this organization and what we're doing when we can't spend what we have. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your comments this morning and for your zealous representation. I think, unfortunately, good. I'm glad you were here this morning, this afternoon, to say those comments. You are preaching to the choir, and it is frustrating. And but I think, if anything, this agency, this organization, in conjunction with your hard work in Austin and all of our Valley-wide delegation, and with TxDOT, we need to. We've been talking about making sure that the projects that are shovel-ready get attended to and get funded, and it's up to all of us as members of the RGVMPO, not on an individual basis of our particular area, whether it's Hidalgo, Cameron, Star, or Willacy, or a municipality. We've got to do what we say, and you just heard the chairman indicate that it makes his job so much more difficult, and Pete's, if we're not spending the money that we've already been allocated. He can't then go back, well, yeah, you haven't done what you said you were going to do. So we hear you, Mr. Chairman, and I hope everybody's listening to the emotion that was in the chairman's voice and his frustration, because the last thing he just said it. We've been ignored. We haven't been funded, and now we have opportunities to do it, which was the whole point of getting our MPOs merged. And we need to take advantage of this opportunity, because if we don't, Bexar County, Houston, Harris, Dallas, Austin, El Paso, they will gladly take our funding and the monies that we're not utilizing. So it's up to us to make sure that this RGVMPO, this regionalization of our entire valley, becomes a benefit for everybody, and we quit sending our money and our resources elsewhere in the state. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your comments this afternoon. All right, consent agenda. Item 4, approval of minutes for the September 28, 2022 meeting. We have a motion to approve. Second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, RFP presentations. Mr. Cantu.
Good afternoon, board members. Today, we're here to seeking action on 2 contracts to be approved, one being for performance measures and one being for resiliency study. We met with a subcommittee, scored these projects, then we made the consultants do a presentation at TAC, and under the recommendations, we chose these 2 consultant firms, and today I'm just asking for approval and action of the contracts.
Any questions? So the recommendation is to approve TETSI for the FM 509?
No, FM 509 is being held off until next month in January. We'll bring that one back. We didn't get that one completed because we were missing some items from the consulting firm, but after we receive those, we'll bring back that item in January.
Can you give us your recommendation then?
Fernando, could you give us the name of the firm and the project that they'll be undertaking?
Okay, so for the performance measures, it was Alliant Transportation Group, and for the comprehensive sustainability, again, it was Alliance Transportation Group. From TEDSI, we were missing their budget breakdown of what was going to be the price it was going to be for the study.
All right. All right, so that's the recommendation from staff. Is there any further questions or discussions? If not, is there a motion? Motion to approve. Need a second? Sorry. Second, Ms. Parker. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Will this be at the pending item at the next meeting? On 509?
The one for, yes, sir, for 509 will be for next meeting.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Item 3, presentation on final report for the spring 2022 CMP multimodal transportation performance and assesses alternative strategies. Mr. Taylor,
yes,
welcome
sir.
back.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Today I'll quickly move things through the presentation. As y'all remember, I talked to you in September and gave you the highlights then. So today we'll go through just the new items that have occurred since that presentation. So as quickly as you remember, a CMP is primarily to help you prioritize your projects and give you a chance to manage what you have before adding capacity. So this is the network that was evaluated, and just the one point here to remind you is the McAllen area. That area was kind of carved out and skipped over for this CMP because there was ongoing in-house work. That was a project the city was doing with their own funds, and that was to retime 153 signals within the city. So this is the results of the network analysis. As you can see, there's a good portion of red within the intersection segment level. But when you jump forward and look at the 1/10 of a mile subsegments, you kind of go back and forth here, you see a lot of that red kind of disappears. So that tells you most of that delay and that congestion is occurring at the intersections. So in summary here, between the top and the bottom, the top one is how much congestion do we have, delay do we have within the network. You can see there on the second to the right column, it had about 614 miles, so about 43% of the network was found to be congested or delayed. When you go to the intersection level or the 1/10 of a mile level, it drops to only 10% or 160 miles. So that tells you the vast majority of the delay and congestion, again, are occurring at the intersection level. So since 2016, you all have been able to dedicate quite a bit of a funding, to address this issue over the years. So since 2016, 2020, and some in-house through the city efforts, there's been a lot of work to try to move things along to address some of this delay that we've been observing at the intersection level. So once again, this time we made recommendations to say, let's continue that effort. And so we said, let's look at 172 intersections or 172 signals within the region. So with the subcommittee, we identified those locations. And again, you see a hole within McAllen because they were doing all those in-house. So we were looking to try to leverage that and try to complement that to then expand on that and continue some of those corridors that the city took on themselves. So these are the ones within Hidalgo County, Cameron County and Brownsville area, and also in Harlingen. So just a quick highlight, and this is actually part of the ongoing work. What we're doing today is presenting the results of the CMP. This is actually a new contract or a new amendment to the contract that's to then look at those 172 intersections. So the point here to make is in that work we've done so far in the last month or 6 weeks, is we went out and assessed those 172 intersections to identify the capabilities, the condition, how new the equipment is, how out of date it is. And these are some of the highlights that we found, and it's not surprising. This is similar results we saw before since 2016. So this highlights the results of the detection capabilities at the intersections. Is everything functioning, basically? And what you would hope to see these numbers to be about 10% of the network is having maintenance issues or need to be repaired. But in this case, we were seeing anywhere from 30% up to almost 90%. And McAllen is obviously a small sample size, just the 2 intersections there. They're the ones that are doing the most within the region. They have some in-house staff that are dedicated to maintenance on the detection side. So 2 out of 7 is actually not that bad. That's probably 2 out of 50 or 60 for them. So those percentages are a little higher. But everybody else, it's pretty telling that over the years there's been a lack of funding within this area, maintenance, equipment repairs, equipment replacements. So this continues to be a trend that we need to have some attention on the city side, where that equipment, once those cities got big enough to be responsible for maintenance, those funding levels need to be increased within the city side to be able to take care of what you got. So again, this is just the findings. We just need to see if those funding levels can be increased on the city side to maintain what you have, and also replace a lot of the aging and out-of-date equipment. So those are highlights of the results and what we see coming up, and we'll be meeting with the subcommittee tomorrow to identify, out of the 172 intersections, identify 100 that we can move forward with and do some optimization and retiming of those, and hopefully the equipment some of those maintenance needs can be addressed in the interim. Yes, sir. there's not a single answer to that, but obviously the detection, whenever a detection goes, the pattern you would see whenever detection is failed at the intersection, it fails in a safe mode, which puts in a call whether there's somebody there or not. So that pattern is if you're like on the main street, you're sitting there and the side street's green, it's green, but there's nobody there. That's telling me that the detection is bad, and it's just telling me somebody's over there. So the computer in the cabinet is programmed to say if there's somebody over there, give them X number of time, and it's just giving them that time whether they're there or not. But with detection being repaired, that would be just skipped, and it would stay green in the major approach. So it's causing a lot of delay, congestion, when it's not really a capacity issue. It's really a maintenance issue.
Steve, I know the western part of Hidalgo County is about to go online on the new La Jolla Loop. I don't know how many opportunities there would be to, through Palmview, La Jolla, et cetera, to review other intersections aside from the ones that are existing there, because we hopefully get a little relief from that corridor when the loop comes online, just a consideration.
Right, and a lot of those would be on system, TxDOT intersections, and we would hope to, to see similar, on these 100 intersections that we're hoping to do here shortly, many of those will be crossing TxDOT corridors, and we'll be working with Pete and staff to incorporate those into that study so we can continue that transition and continue some of that work with TxDOT.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Mayor.
Quickly, does it take into account any forecast of, areas that are under development or anything? I mean, because there's some areas quickly developing, and so I'm not sure if this take that into account, because I don't know how often this study's done to help with that.
Yeah, normally with signal time, you overestimate the volume in order to, you go out there and count the intersection. You overestimate, say, put like 3-4 years of growth in there, because the signal will work better if you overestimate the numbers than if you underestimate. That means it's going to have, and that's assuming everything's working in the cabinet. Because if you say, hey, you only need 30 seconds, so I'm going to give you 40-50 seconds because of that overestimated volume. But if the detection's bad, it's going to give you that 50 seconds. So yes, we do allow for that growth, but this is a type of project. Signal timing operations is about a 3 or 4 year life on it, and it needs to be revisited. So, but obviously with the number of signals within the region, and other MPOs do this on a kind of revolving basis, where you look at one part of the area, or you look at a sample, certain corridors, regional corridors, and then maybe next year you do another set of corridors and another set of corridors, and then you come back and do the same again. So it is a constant thing, but things can work a lot better than they are right now on the arterial system, for sure.
Thank you.
So we have various program calls where we work with the various cities. Obviously, if a city is over 50,000 in population, it's the city's responsibility. But there are calls for additional funding. It's a matter of submitting those requests through TxDOT.
Both for infrastructure and implementation and operation and maintenance?
For implementation.
Only.
Operation and maintenance is the responsibility of the 50,000 above.
That's what I'm saying. So even for the 50,000 or above, there are no additional funding, even if we ask?
Yes, that's correct. Not for maintenance purposes. That's the responsibility of the local. Well, that's maintenance.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Then state roads?
On the state roads, yeah, that's our responsibility for this population is 50,000 and less, or less than 50,000, I should say.
So like Business 77, Brownsville?
That's the city's responsibility, yes.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Thaler. Appreciate the presentation. Can I have a motion to acknowledge the report? Motion and a second. Who's the second? Everyone? All in favor? All opposed, motion carries. Item 4, discussion and action on FY 2023 to 2026 TIP and 2045 MTP amendments.
Thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon to all the policy board members. Included within today's packet are the amendments to the short-range plan, which is our 23 to 26 Transportation Improvement Program, as well as to our long-range plan, Amendment Number 7, to the MTP. So included within the packet are the amendments that are listed on the summary sheet. Those are inclusive of the Category 7 increases that have already gone through both the advisory committee and through this board and have been approved. We also have updates from the 2023 UTP as well, and it's also inclusive of any administrative changes that we've received since then. So these projects have already been uploaded to the STIP portal database along with supporting documentation. We were given an extension to bring these documents to the policy board for approval so that we could get our resolution signed and upload that as well today. And that will conclude the update for Amendment 1 to the STIP, and it'll also conclude the Amendment Number 7 to our long-range plan, the MTP. I would also like to note that within the packet is our public involvement information, a few public meetings that we held throughout the region for public involvement within those 30 days that are required. And we also have the projects that are pending functional classification. We've been in constant communication with our local governments throughout that process and will continue to do so until those projects are functionally classified. And for those that do not have the Category 7 increases added to them at this time, as soon as they are classified, we will move forward with those increases as well. And I'm happy to entertain any questions or concerns at this time.
Any questions? Nope. All right. Is there a motion? A motion to approve by Mr. Alvarez. Need a second? Don't be shy. Thank you, Mr. Parker. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, Rudy. Item 5, discussion on TASA. Eva?
Good afternoon, policy members. Just this is for like the new people, maybe new elected officials, new members, or new staff. But just TASA 101, Transportation Alternative Set Aside, it's given to us by the federal government based on our population. And the 4 key steps in the process is apportionment, which Federal Highway manages, programming, which the DOT and MPO manages, obligation, the responsibility of the MPO, the local government project sponsors, and then reimbursement is between the federal government and the local government project sponsors. So there are other things like lapsing and rescission that occurs, and just based on the federal requirements, our funds, TASA funds, do lapse after 3 years or 4 with the fiscal year that they're programmed. And so we're looking at the fiscal year 2019-2020 projects again. This is a list of those. We have 2 projects currently pending AFA amendments. I'm going to briefly run through each project in a minute, but basically we have a schedule of activities that we're encouraging project sponsors to meet in order to obligate the funds on time, and that begins with today's meeting and this report, which is informational. Next month we'll come and we're asking for those pending AFA amendments to fully execute those documents, and then we will have a consideration and possible action at the policy meetings, and based on that we'll continue with the schedule. But ultimately we need projects to be ready to let in June, with requests for FPAAs and SLOAs, which are Federal Participation Authorization Agreement, State Letter of Authority, at being requested in July, and so that way they're received by August and funds can be considered obligated. And so we'll begin with the LRGVDC's Hidalgo County Mobility Plan. This project is currently, they have drafted their bid documents, and so the procurement plan approval required some revisions, and that's being worked on. They're gonna begin putting some project meetings together to finalize that and go to procurement. The McAllen's project, we came to you in October of 2021. They had an original route in their application. That connectivity is still going to occur through multiple projects, but for the TASA funding specifically, it has been reduced to these 3 routes. They're coordinating a lot with Edinburgh, as this is a 2-city project. Edinburgh is working on a railroad agreement, which is already with the railroad here, which is great because usually this takes a lot of time. I know that the AFA amendment was at City Commission this week. The 30% design will be submitted this month. And so that project is moving forward. The PSJA Tri-City Pedestrian Improvements is also underway. We're meeting next week to discuss a letting plan and bid documents. And just so that you're aware, we came to you in February to remove some barriers or obstacles to the project obligating their funds in these two areas. And so I wanted to reflect that. Brownsville has two projects, Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Brownsville to Los Fresnos Connect. It was originally planned to be along a drainage canal easement. Due to some right-of-way issues and some private ownership around one of those corners, now they are rerouting to TxDOT right away along Paredes Line Road. And so that, I know I've seen a lot of emails going between our San Benito area office and the project sponsors for that. We're gonna have to come to the policy board next month for a resolution to approve or to consider approval of a resolution to make those changes, and that would require an AFA amendment due to the route being changed. And so the consultants are working on it. They are, have moved forward with environmental and design. But Los Fresnos project, I know that AFA amendment is still pending. It's currently under review by TxDOT, and I know that they're hoping to get that to Los Fresnos in January for execution. And just as a reminder, we came to you in May with this to change the route from Henderson Road to Resaca Retreat. I believe the design is at 90%. I believe I saw an email with that submittal, and so that's currently going to be discussed and reviewed by TxDOT. Cameron County has two projects. This is the Olmitos Sidewalks projects. Just due to the increased cost of materials since the application date, the Cameron County has asked if they could have a reduction in their sidewalks, reducing the linear footage, and for this project, removing two streets, which is Palmito and Moise. And so this would be a reflection of what that would be. We'll come to you in January for the policy board's decision to approve or deny that request, well, through a resolution. And similarly, this was the original project map for sidewalks in the Las Palmas area. They're requesting a reduction. It would still manage all the roads initially in the AFA amendment, so we don't expect an AFA amendment in that one, as the scope stays the same. The only difference between this project and the other project is the removal of those street names in the amendment, I believe. I think the funding would stay the same if so approved. And so UTRGV is meeting weekly. They're building their bid documents. We had a meeting earlier this morning with their procurement department. And so I think this might be the first construction project to let and to obligate its funds. And then this is, so basically with all of these projects, this one being the last one, we need to make sure that these critical path items are determined and that local government project sponsors are realistic about meeting those dates, particularly, I think, where there are reroutes or changes to their projects. We are looking ahead at the fiscal year 21 and 22 projects. We awarded a total of 6 projects, 3 of them construction, 3 of them planning. Out of those 6, only 3 of them have executed their AFA agreements when they were awarded a year ago. And so we're working on developing a similar schedule of activities for those fiscal years. And you can kind of see here, this is about 2.3 million. 2019, 2020 is about 4.5 million. And so we're looking already at 2023, 2024, but based on federal requirements in the BIL, we are making the competitive process changes, and that has to be transparent, and we have to make all of our competitive process available to the public for comments. And so we're gonna have a virtual meeting, the first of a TASA working group, and we're gonna be reviewing changes to the application, changes to the scoring criteria, and looking at what the project, the schedule of activities might be for programming the next round of funding. And outside of MPO funds on a state level, there's about $250 million. Some state partners at the Austin level asked me to remind everyone that their final virtual workshop is this Friday. It's from 9 to 12. There's different categories of funding based on the size of your community and the size of your project, but I believe you can request up to $25 million for a project. But check out the virtual workshop for more. Reach out to me if you have any questions about any of these projects.
Thank you. Any questions?
Sure, I'm happy to send the link out to the workshop through the policy board members. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? All right. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
Item 6, draft 2024 UTP Cat 2.
Good Good afternoon, board members. My name is Melba Shaws. I am the FAR District Planning Engineer, and I'm here to present the draft Category 2 projects we are proposing for the 2024 UTP. So in the spreadsheet in your packet, basically to make things easier, I will first start off with that everything you see in black text is a project that is currently in the 23 UTP. The only updates we'll be making to those if the estimate updated, so you'll see on the right-hand side, we have a 23 letting estimate and a 24 letting estimate. So we'll be moving forward and updating those estimates to reflect the new current estimate for 2024. So what I wanted to talk about is the items you see in red. Those are the changes, whether they be updates or changes in fiscal year. So I kind of want to go through the actual projects that we're adding first to the UTP. So those are the ones that you see the entire line item in red. So we do have a couple in Starr County, US 83 in Starr County, and State Loop 195 in Starr County. As everyone knows, a portion of Starr County is now within the MPO boundaries, making those projects eligible for Category 2 funding. Now, US 83 does have already some Category 4 funding allocated to it, so we'll just be leveraging some additional Category 2 dollars on that one. State Loop 195 has some Category 12 dollars already associated with it, so we'll be leveraging some Category 2 dollars to get it fully funded. Along those, near those projects in 2025, we do have an FM 1925 project that I show from 10th Street to McCall. You'll see the fiscal year let date is in red, and that's going to indicate that it was currently in 24, but we are proposing to move it out to 2025 at this time. Some of the other changes, projects that we've added are in 2025. You'll see FM 494 from FM 676 to FM 1924. That is a new project that we'll be pursuing some additional Category 2 funds for. And then further down in fiscal year 26 is FM 509, which is currently in 2024. We're recommending to move it to 2026, and that's primarily based on the fact that it's not currently functionally classified. So we're going to move it out for now. Once it does get functionally classified or there's a change in status, we can move any of these projects that we are moving out and accelerate those projects. You'll notice that they are all within the tip years. So if there's any movement on any of these to be accelerated, we can accelerate these projects. And another project that we're moving out as far as fiscal year from 24 to 26 is SH 495, and that is from IH2 to SH 364. And again, we just, like I mentioned earlier, once it's ready to go, we can accelerate that project. This top list, or this top half, are within the construct authority years. Our new construct authority years are 2024 through 2027. So on the last 6 years of the UTP, we are recommending to remove that first project you see there. It is IH69E. It is to do proposed continuous frontage roads. Right now, the traffic does not warrant that at this time. We'll continue to monitor it, and if needed, we will bring that project back into the UTP. And then finally, to wrap it up, you'll see 6 new projects at the bottom of that list. These are projects that we'll be proposing to add into the UTP. These 6 new projects add up to about $86 million, and just kind of running down the line, you'll see that the 4 of them are in Hidalgo County, 2 of them are in Cameron. So the 2 in Cameron we are proposing are 1846 and FM 509. And then the 4 in Cameron are SH 107, FM 1423, SH 364, and FM 2061. Overall, you have the numbers there. We have about $444 million of current CAT 2 authorized, and we propose to request an additional $203 million. Now, this Category 2 is a district balance. We are pretty confident that we have that balance available, so we're pretty confident that we have the funding available for these projects. We are waiting to hear back from TPMP. So the only thing we assume now at this time is that because of fiscal constraint, we may have to move projects around. So that is the proposal right now. So we are requesting action to adopt this listing.
All right. Any questions? All right. You are requesting action on this.
Correct.
All right. If there are no questions, is there a motion? Go ahead.
Sure. That section, I always get confused if it's McCall or Jackson, because it splits. Okay.
Chairman, the owners of these projects, are they in agreement that they want this moved? Whoever's sponsoring,
It's a good question.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
That,
sponsors, whoever it was,
the local sponsors.
county, whatever, they're in agreement that that's what they want.
Well, that's, I guess, why we're here. This is the presentation. We presented to TAC. There were no comments at TAC at that time. So we're presenting now at policy.
Well, I mean, I understand, we don't always listen to TAC, just so you know.
Oh, no,
That's our recommendation.
understandably.
I want to be sure, I want to know that everybody who's being affected, that they had agreed, good or bad.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah, we have not received any comments from the local governments otherwise, so,
And the request, obviously, is to, at the local level, is to move these, support these projects so they can move forward.
correct.
All right. Any further questions? If not, is there a motion? Motion to approve? Second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Item 7, City of McAllen 2018 Traffic Improvement Bond.
That's to postpone.
Okay, so we're gonna, our motion to table? Motion and a second? Second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. Item is tabled. Item 8, RGVMPO meeting dates for calendar year 2023. Andrew?
Yes, sir, we're bringing the calendar date for next year to the policy board for a vote. So this way we can finalize the meeting dates. Everybody will have this set for through the year. The only exception that we're asking the board to give some consideration to, and I know the COG board, we're mirroring theirs, but they didn't take action today, is the February 22nd meeting day. I have an update on that in my executive report, but that's also during the RGV days taking place at the Capitol. So staff would recommend that we move that date to February 15th if the board is in agreement. Otherwise, all the other dates would stay the same and be finalized.
You said the 15th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, we have a motion? Is there a second? Second by Mr. Olive. All in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Item 5, RGVMPO Executive Director's Report and Updates.
Yes, sir. I'll try to be quick on this. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce Adriana Estrada, my new executive assistant, who's here with us today.
Welcome.
She's been doing great. I know she's reaching out to all of your staff to get familiar with everyone, so please help us in making her transition to the MPO easy, so we appreciate her being here. The financial update is contained within your package. As you can see, at this point in time, we should be at the 50% mark. We should be at 54.17 expended. We're at 37. As always, we run a tight ship, so we're a little low. We know there's finalization of some of the contracts that we have, like the one presented by Mr. Taylor. The payout on those will help bring those percentages up. And then 23 with the 2 contracts of the 3 that we've approved at the beginning of the meeting, we know that that will help bring the expenditures up as well. So we're right on task financially where we should be. We hosted a legislative workshop, which was the recommendation of the chairman to have of everybody to get together. We were able to do that across the street at the UT. That's it. Too many initials in there. It was a good turnout. We asked Renee Ramirez with Pathfinders to come and give us some insight into what he foresaw going to happen in the session. The notes are contained in your packets. We had a good turnout, so it was nice to be able to have some discussion and some expectations of what people are looking for. Some of these the MPO are engaged in, some of these the MPO is not engaged in, but it was definitely a fruitful workshop to be able to have and understand where we think that the legislative session may or may not be heading as we prepare for the upcoming session. The Transportation Forum, I've sent out an email just as a reminder that is taking place in Austin, January 29th to the 31st. It's Sunday to Tuesday. So I don't know how they are on rooms or anything, but just if you get the opportunity to attend and you find it fruitful, I think that would be a good opportunity.
I think it's cheaper to buy a house in Austin than it is to rent a hotel over there now.
RGV Days, I do have something on that quickly. That is being hosted by the Valley Partnership. That is taking place February 21st to the 22nd. Daniel Silva is out sick today, but he did send over to me the agenda. On Tuesday, the 21st, those on the partnership who wish to contact them, they are going to have several buses that will be going up if anyone is interested in doing that. They have a block of rooms as well. On the 22nd, we'll be meeting at the Capitol as groups and handing out legislative materials, some other goodies, and then making visits to all of the offices, to our legislation there, and talking about different aspects with their staff of things that are regional wide for the Valley and different concerns that we have. There will be a lunch at the Sheraton with some of the legislators coming as speakers, and then a reception that evening taking place with the legislators as well. It's always been very well attended. And then on the 23rd, there's going to be some speakers coming to speak to the delegation. They have a couple of small conference rooms at the conference, so there can be some one-on-one time. So if there's a city or county or just some individuals that like some one-on-one time with the legislators, they'd be able to do that. And it's also worth noting that there's also supposed to be a recognition for the RGV on the Senate and House floor in the way of resolutions.
That's on Wednesday?
I believe that is going, I apologize, yes, sir, that's going to be on Wednesday.
Okay.
So if you can attend, please maybe let me know. If not, definitely Daniel Silva over at the partnership for sure, or I can convey your interest in that to him so he's aware of it. I also want to take a moment or two and say I'm very proud of my staff at the last National Association of MPO meetings at AMPO in Minneapolis. Of the 245 MPOs in the country, the staff received the Excellence in Staff Award from all of the MPOs, and this was due to the merger and the tasks that were undertaken. We have several plans that we have 3 and 4 year timelines to develop and meet federal guidelines. My staff really knuckled down and they did it all in 1 year. And if we hadn't done that, all of the projects in the Valley would have come to a halt. Some of these, like our long-range plan, has to meet the anniversary date. So it was nice for somebody outside of the agency. I believe that the city of Brownsville actually nominated us. I was surprised by that, so we appreciate that. But I just wanted to share that because I'm very happy with my staff who did so well with accomplishing so much in a very short time.
Give a big round of applause. Congratulations, Andrew, and to your staff. This might be a good moment to segue into our other
Yes, sir.
item. Let's see. Usually we try to take care of our business early because somebody always has, all of us have busy schedules, but one guy in particular is always on call 24/7. But we have something we want to present to our former chair and Mayor Farr and my good friend, the Road Hand Award. Mayor, congratulations. Where is it, Andrew? Who's got it? There, Pete.
Sir.
Go ahead, Pete.
So just a few words before the actual presentation is made. This Road Hand Award was to be given back in 2021 at the Transportation Forum. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, the doctor being very, very busy, was not able to attend in person. But I did receive this award 2 weeks ago in my office, and I felt it would be appropriate to recognize Dr. Hernandez in front of his peers for this Road Hand Award. This award is given to individuals that play a major role in the transportation program in the state of Texas. Projects like the I-2, I-69 interchange, his role in the merger of the 3 MPOs, and other projects in the region were all being recognized, and therefore it's my pleasure to present Mayor Hernandez with the Road Hand Award.
Doesn't happen often.
How are you, Pancho?
Appreciate it, yes, sir.
You doing all right?
good.
Been busy?
Mayor, would you like to say a few words?
First of all, thank you to our colleagues at the MPO. Obviously, Judge, you're with me those heated battles for the MPO merger, and it took the team to get it done. And TxDOT's perspective, I know you guys wanted it. This means a lot to the mayors, right? Because it's really for the mayors, and they did quite a bit of effort in all those projects. When the 2-to-1 exchange was being viewed as a priority, it was actually, and I've said it before, Cameron County, actually, they were very aggressive in helping us get all the signatures to be sure that TxDOT at that point, Turner Lewis, would fund it and make sure that we got it done. So we always worked as a team. I was caught a little bit off guard and realized this, it doesn't happen often.
I was going to say, that doesn't happen often, so big round of applause to catching the mayor off guard. Yeah. Thank you, congratulations, Mayor. We appreciate your service and your commitment to our area. All right, Andrew, continue, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I'll add to that real quickly to say that the mayor now lives in infamy on the wall at the Greer Building in Austin. I've already seen your name on there to join others like Commissioner Garza and others. So you're in a long list of people there, Mayor, but it'll be nice. It'll carry on there for a long time. So that's awesome. Finally, Chairman, the State Safety Task Force. I'm on the State Safety Task Force as asked to participate by Commissioner Ryan and Commissioner New from the TxDOT Commission. We've been holding several meetings regularly. Michael Morris from Dallas has been heading those meetings up. I'm happy to say that we're now getting to the conclusion part of our meetings where we'll be moving forward with some safety studies. I've had several conversations with Pete. We're all on the same page on that as we move towards a Vision Zero to try to get to a point to where we're back again to where we have a day in Texas without a death on our roadways. There has been some offers from the commission. We're looking at some different scenarios on funding. So we have the funding in-house to be able to take care of all this. So that's been very nice for us to be able to handle it. We're looking at the next year to do a study, to come up with our own safety study for the area and complement with what the district has, because they have to prepare one as well. And then I'm sure from that study, we'll be coming back to the policy board for some implementation. It could be something as simple as flashing dynamic signs for speed limits in some neighborhoods where we know we have people speeding. I know that generally catches me pretty good. If it's 45 miles an hour, you're going a little bit quicker, it flashes your speed on there so people are conscious and aware to slow down. To some other safety factors and things that we can do in the region to try to help promote a safer mindset for everybody out there so we can try to meet that goal. So I just wanted to share with the policy board as a whole that we're getting to the implementation phase of doing the study, and then we'll be coming back to keep you aware as we go through that on what we can do to implement and make things safer in our region.
All right. Any questions for Andrew? All right, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, sir.
Item 6, status reports, TxDOT. You have 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Clemente Mena. I will be presenting for the Hidalgo portion of this presentation. If we go on through the first slide there, we're going to start off with FM 3072, which is also known as Dicker Road. This project goes from Jackson all the way to Veterans Boulevard. And as we can see here on the next slide, this project on the west side of Cage is within we do it. Okay. There we go. So you can see here the contractor is preparing for the paving operations now at this point. That has the base material has already been compacted, clipped, and it's ready for paving operations. Going to the center of the project here, this is looking at the Cage intersection. The signal upgrades have been completed. Going to the east portion of the project from Cage to Veterans, the contractor is working on the north side, which is the left side of the picture. They are finalizing the subgrade. They started to place base material, and they are also getting ready for paving operations next month. Going on to FM 907, also known as Alamo Road. This project is 44% complete. It starts from Dicker Road all the way to Military Highway. We have a bridge there. There's two portions. The bridge portion has been advancing very rapidly. As you can see here, last month, the contractor had finished the abutments, and they were getting ready, or had also placed towards the end of the month, as we can see in the picture, the beams and the bridge deck slab. This morning, they placed the slab on there, and so that is now completed as well. The other portion of the project is a roadway reconstruction. As you can see on the picture, the contractor has placed upgrade material. They are now placing flex base, and the paving operations should be completed here within the next couple of months as well. That is a quick upgrade or status on those projects. My colleague here will present on the other portion.
That was for Hidalgo, correct?
Yes, Hidalgo County. Good afternoon. My name is Rene Davila. I'm a project manager for TxDOT. I'll be presenting two updates for Cameron County. The first one is SH100. The project limits for this project is from Mesquite Road to Evano Road. The scope of this project is to rehabilitate the roadway. The contractor is Earthworks Enterprise. We are currently at 55% complete, and the estimated completion date for this project is March of 2023. Right now, contractor is currently working on phase 4, which is the construction of the south side of the roadway from 1847 to Evano Street. They're working on the proposed lime-treated subgrade. Continuing on phase 4, from Mesquite Street to 1847, the contractor is currently working on the proposed flex base. We should actually be done with this segment of roadway by next week, before the Christmas break. Moving to the next project, South Parallel Corridor. The limits of this project are from FM 509 to FM 2520. The scope of this work is for a new alignment. The contractor for this project is Foremost Paving. Currently, we are right now at 53% complete, and the estimated completion date is for August of 2023. The contractor is currently working on the proposed flex base from FM 509 to the Resaca de los Fresnos. From La Resaca de los Fresnos to FM 2520, the contractor is working on the subgrade. They are also working on the proposed concrete riprap. There's a total of 6 drainage crossings throughout the project, and to prevent erosion, and they're working on that as well. With that, we conclude our presentation. If there's any questions or comments? No, I don't have it here, but I can always get back with you, He didn't came today, but if you need an update, I can always get back with you. Yeah.
So I'll give a real quick update if you don't mind.
There you go,
And so
Pete.
when all is said and done, we've been meeting regularly with the contractor. In fact, we had a meeting this morning with the president of the company, who came in from Phoenix, Arizona. The project is progressing nicely. We have obviously built direct connector number 4 going south to west, knocked down 3 bridges, and we're in the process of building 2 bridges in the middle. That is anticipated to be completed March 2023. Once that's done, we'll obviously move the traffic to the new location and then demolish what is called direct connector number 1, which is west to north. That project will be done in a real quick time frame. Milestones have been set up, and we anticipate that by October 2023, we will have substantial completion on a $303 million project, the biggest project in the valley ever.
Awesome.
Any questions? Further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Item 6B, Cameron County RMA.
Good afternoon, Eric Davila, Chief Engineer. Veterans POV expansion, that project is 15% complete. They're currently doing the site work to be able to do the foundation work at the new head house. They're doing utility relocations, storm sewer, electrical conduit, and they'll be pouring some spread footings this afternoon. So that project is progressing nicely. Gap 2 for the 550 project, we reactivated a supplemental to get the Union Pacific Exhibit A, Railroad Exhibit, finalized. We're pending submittal here before the holidays so we could make a push to get it coordinated through TxDOT and through, obviously, through UP so we can get that to let. We're still projecting to let sometime next year. East Loop, well, we've met with IBWC and with DHS. DHS is working through an established decree that they had with the City of Brownsville to be able to redesign and relocate the border fence in this area. We're coordinating typical sections with them so that they can see the space they have available to them to complete that relocation and coordinating schedules. IBWC is pretty much lined up and ready to conduct reviews. We should have a 90% set of the overall roadway plans out early in 2023, and we'll start progressing with the federal reviews of fence and levee as well. Free Trade Bridge, this project should be letting early 2023. This is the DAP project, so the agreement and all the exhibits have been submitted. So we're essentially working with CBP to try to get this let as soon as possible. I'm gonna skip a little bit for expediency. Old Dallas Road, this project had a utility relocation, which we've received just now the final CAD files for an associated project nearby that we have to just coordinate as part of this project. Once we do, in about another 10 days, we'll be able to push a revised 100% set of plans back out to TxDOT. And again, that one is, even though it's listed for 2029, the project will be essentially shovel ready once those plans are accepted. FM 509, this will, I think there was a staff update about, I think it was from TxDOT about the functional class. So we are still undergoing our advanced planning work. The preliminary engineering work is not stopped, but we've coordinated some additional information for the functional class application. Williams Road, north and south, again, underway for preliminary engineering. Same way for Dana Road. All these projects are underway. SPI second access, we're getting a trickle of tech reports coming in, so we're looking at the environmental tech reports as part of the process. We've also submitted a right-of-way application to U.S. Fish and Wildlife. There's a portion of the project which was essentially coordinated with Fish and Wildlife a few years ago. They've since come into acquisition of that. So to help expedite schedule and get ourselves on their radar, so to speak, we're making our intentions known to proceed with the area that we had initially coordinated. And so all of that is to help expedite our schedule on the environmental process and hopefully eventual right-of-way acquisition. Harlingen Rail. Our board has approved a scope of work with Union Pacific. They're essentially going to be our engineer of record for the work. Should cut out a lot of the middlemen in coordination with UP since they'll be coordinating with themselves. And we're also underway with agreements with Federal Rail Administration for the grant agreements portion of this work. So we'll be kicking off preliminary engineering early in 2023. We'll have UP make a site visit, provide a final schedule, and then we'll have the construction documents developed once they get underway with the advanced planning work, which includes them doing the environmental document. West Boulevard project, is 95% complete. We've got a submittal that we have to review before we get that over to TxDOT for coordination. Whipple Road, we're in the middle of the public involvement. So if you go to our website, ccrma.org, and go to projects and find the listing for Whipple Road, the notice is listed there along with the schematic and any of the forms. Should you all wish to make a public comment, y'all could send that comment over to edavila@ccrma.org or just follow the instructions on the notice for opportunity of comment. 1847, this particular project is one of the TASA projects, so we have a meeting at 3:30, so I guess gotta cut it short. Wanted to just take a second to recognize all the participants for the Willacy and Cameron County I-169 sign unveilings. The I-169 unveiling is the one closest to our heart. It was on the 550, so now we have not only an interstate overweight corridor, but a toll road that connects I-69, east over to the Port of Brownsville. A momentous occasion. Thank you all for participating in those events. I'll kick over to the executive summary. Essentially, we do have $50 million worth of projects that are essentially ready, shovel ready and ready to let in various phases. We got a lot of projects in design, nearly $200 million worth of projects there. And projects in development in the pipeline are part of that US 77, SPI second axis, the big picture projects. And so we look forward to keep pushing on that here in 2023. With that legislative session agenda, we have, I think, a lot of shared priorities, starting with item number 4, Second Causeway, securing the funding gaps for Second Causeway, East Loop, and Outer Parkway. Looking at the habitual violators legislation, we are doing a lot more outreach with our operation to assure that drivers that do not pay their tolls, we do the proper outreach to them so that we can close the gap on any outstanding toll charges. And last but not least, overweight corridor summary. So here we show the 2 county areas. We have in blue, the Hidalgo County overweight network. In red, we have the overweight network in Cameron County. And the dashed lines show some of the aspirations that we have that we want to bring up into this next session. We have portions of US 281 military highway that would provide that last gap of connectivity between Hidalgo and Cameron County international ports of entry, in addition to future East Loop and the existing 550, which is already designated, set, and in operation. It just has to be designated as part of an overweight route. And so this is just something that we'll keep updating everybody on. Any questions?
Just a real quick comment on the overweight corridor in Cameron County. If you're going to be proposing legislation, Eric, one thing to consider is, as part of the legislation, remove the requirement that future legislation is required to add roadways. As an example, Hidalgo County RMA, in that legislation, they petitioned TxDOT and to add roadways and what have you,
Right.
and we go through a process. In Cameron County, that is not the case. It requires legislation. So something to consider. I'd be more than happy to talk to you all a little bit more about that as you move forward.
Send us that language, Pete.
I'm sorry?
Let's send us the language. Yeah, we'll make sure that we do this once, and yeah, appreciate that. Any other questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. Good presentation. All right, Ramon, are you still here? Oh,
Yes, sir. I'll be
all right.
very brief. Ramon Navarro, Chief Construction Engineer for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority with a real short status. As far as the projects in yellow, the Section 2 and Section 1 are currently in construction, the 365 toll project. We are 17.5% paid out and 19% on time. Utilized, we're currently capturing the value engineering change proposal packets and bringing those to fruition. We've impacted about 75% of the plans. We're currently having a workshop right now at this moment and looking forward to presenting executive summary at 4 o'clock. On that project, we've had 32 RFIs, 52 submittals approved, and in the report is a summary of the value engineering change proposals that we are entertaining at this time. The wetland mitigation project, we continue collecting details, listening to the site experts as far as recommendations on the soils, the plants, the weather, the temperature, the bugs, the bunnies, all of that good stuff on being able to bring a project to fruition in early March of 2023. And as far as the toll system integrator, we had a proposal opening on December 9th, which was last Friday. We had 5 proposals submitted by major nationwide corporations, and we're currently reviewing the packets for, we're looking through the packets for their compliance. It's under compliance review, going before the evaluation committee, and will come before the short list will come before the board in early February of 2023. As per IBTC, we continue to partner with the agencies, TxDOT being the main project coordinator. On this one, we are reprogramming or amending some of the program documents for that. Due to the funding, we are pursuing functional classification through the RGVMPO, and we look forward to bringing on 2023 with advanced engineering onto this project. As per the overweight network that Mr. Davila was referring to in Hidalgo County, this is a late report up to October. We have issued 34,816 permits, collected $7 million approximately, with the lion's share of that going to TxDOT, and currently in a seasonal decline that regularly happens this time of year, consistently carrying out about an 18.5% increase throughout the end of the year. Any questions or concerns we may entertain at this time? Hearing none, on behalf of the RMA, we'd like to wish everybody a safe and prosperous holiday season, and enjoy the family, huh? Thank you.
Thank you, Ramon. All right, McAllen Metro. Okay. Brownsville Metro. All right, we're doing good. Valley Metro.
Yes, sir. You got 2 out of 3.
So close, Judge. Hi, my name is Sarah Dearlam. I'm the Assistant Executive Director for the LRGVDC and Interim Director of our Transportation Department, Valley Metro. Really quickly, and I do have Metro McAllen numbers. They did submit them. For the month of October, they had 52,000 trips. For Valley Metro, we had 71,000 trips. Are there any questions? Actually, it's on your screen. You can see it right there. Any questions? Thank you.
All right.
And Merry
That was excellent.
Christmas.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. All right, item 7, other business, old or new? All right. So our next in-person meeting for the TAC, it will be on January the 12th, 10 a.m. And our next MPO meeting will be January the 25th, 2023. And I would ask everybody to make sure that you make that note on the February meeting change, plus the dates that Andrew gave us for the session. And we all try to obviously coordinate and attend all of the particular dates, in particular the RGV days that we're going to be at the session. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the RGVMPO, their staff, to wish each and every one of you and all of our constituents a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and healthy, prosperous New Year. God bless you guys. Thank you all. Now a motion to adjourn.
RGV's announcing the new head coach for the football team, for the Vaqueros. So tomorrow at 11:30 at HEB Park, everybody's invited to go. It's pretty exciting. It's not an Edinburgh team, it's a Rogan Valley team. So, Brownsville all the way to, so we need to embrace it. UTSA started football how many years ago?
I think not that long, right?
Yeah,
11 or 09,
and it's really
something?
brought the community together.
Yeah.
We're real big on football, here in the Valley. Let's come out, let's embrace, this new program and these new spirit programs the university's having, and tomorrow at 11:30. Thank you, Mayor.
His name?
Travis Bush.
Bush, and I saw the bio. He's got a lot of connection. His dad coached here in the Valley for many, many years. So, yeah, great selection. We wish him the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I have a motion to adjourn. Motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Again, Merry Christmas, everybody.